A very warm welcome to all those classical musicians out there who want to grow and expand a creative lifestyle both on and off stage. My name is Karin Bonelli. I'm flutist at the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, a passionate explorer and seeker in musical and personal growth, and founder of Penthesilea Academy, the most innovative masterclass designed for audition preparation. This podcast is for you if you're searching for new ideas to elevate the productivity of your musical practice and your level of focus and expression on stage. But that's not all. In each episode, you will find bits and pieces to integrate into your everyday life, as well as new perspectives and insights by our experienced and passionate team and guests. Music is not a job. It is a way of living. My name is Karin Bonelli, and this is Penthesilea On Air. Welcome to today's episode, where we dive into the unique world where music, mental health, and medicine meet. Our guest, Heidi Brandi, is a musician, therapist, and founder of the Center for Professional Musicians in Hamburg. With a background in piano and organ and decades of experience working closely with classical and jazz musicians, she has become a leading figure in the field of musicians' health. Through her work, The Professional Musician Between Self, Instrument and Orchestra, Heidi explores the psychological pressures that often accompany musical careers, from performance anxiety and physical strain to communication struggles within ensembles. Her mission? To support musicians with preventive, diagnostic, and therapeutic tools that strengthen both mind and body. At the Center for Professional Musicians, which she founded in 2013 alongside Professors Hugo Schmale and Christian Kunert, she leads a dedicated musicians clinic, offers medical education programs accredited by the Hamburg Medical Association, and works directly with orchestras, conservatories, and young talents. In this episode, we talk about what really goes on behind the scenes of a musical career and about what variables make up an artistic identity. Let's get started. Welcome, Heidi Brandi, and thank you for being with us today. It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you so much, Karin.
Thank you. So tell me, how did you come to the realization that the world of musicians needs such a center as you created? Or what was your motivation for founding it?
So do you like a short answer or a long one?
Well, we have many questions to go, so maybe the shorter one.
The short one is because there was no center like this. It didn't exist yet because we are not a medicine ambulance, and it was a new idea, and it is still a new idea, I have to say. And the long answer, this is the result of my own biography, I would say, because it's a result of a long time influence of my life and imprinting from time of working and learning, of thinking in the university by doing research. I think this is, and I was wondering, because the physiological aspects and the psychological aspects never were integrated in the personality. And it was always the focus on the medicine and the dependence of suffering. And as a psychologist, I know how identity is growing up, and also my experience like a physical therapist, occupational therapist. I know what does it mean when the physical development is blocked, which results could it be in the psychological identity.
Mm.
So there are so many influences, at least in my brain, that in my career, I started with the child development for 12 years, and I know very well how a normal development is growing up, how a healthy child should grow up. And I recognize all the sufferers and the blockierung in the development. This was one influence. The next one was that for 12 years, around 12 years, I was treating cancer patients. And there I learned how to solve problems. How can I regulate emotions? And what is the meaning of stress and everything? And this was also a very important experience for my own development. And after that, the most influence are coming from my professor, Hugo Schmale. He was a leader from the university in Hamburg. And he was the first one in Germany in 1984. It's a long time ago. He wrote a book about the physical factors in the orchestra for musicians. And so I did research in his institute. And once it was around 2011, he said to me, Heidi, now it's time to create a new center. You know everything what a professional musician should know for themselves. So we start now to create a new center. And this is the story.
Wow. So you were a real pioneer. And here you have a beautiful team now today. How many people are working with you in your center right now?
Oh, that's a good question. In this ambulance, we are 4, 5 psychotherapists, and we can treat our students and every patient in the common security system. So this is very important because, musicians are not so rich, even when they are doing study. They need help, but they don't know, they can't pay for that. And this is another point that in the university, there's no what is the meaning of advertising, or there's no no advertising for this what we are doing here. And we combine the psychological aspects together with the physical aspects, and that means there's a physiotherapist, and we have some partners in cooperation. They're not located in Hamburg because this is not so important. Important is that they have the same thinking like me or my colleagues. And here there's a special spirit of prevention and to care for the musical identity, for the professional identity in musician field. And this is why we are still pioneers in that case.
Yeah, absolutely.
10 people around.
Okay, so it's already a big team, and you're such a role model there also for our academy, who also put out this idea of that music, medicine, and psychology belong together. So I'm really, thank you for doing the work. And what would you say? Is it still? How important is discretion in your work? Do you feel that physical and psychological imbalances are still a taboo topic among musicians, or has something changed in recent years?
discretion is the base of trust in that field, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's very important, even especially as a psychotherapist.
Yes.
Nothing is going out of my room. That's for sure. That the patients have a safe space here.
And do you still feel that also among musicians, those topics are still like
Yeah.
taboos you don't talk about, or is it opening up? What is your impression?
Oh, that's interesting because the taboo topics are still existent.
Mm.
And the topics are pain, fear, shame, stage frightened, fear of the future. And I would say these topics are nearly the same like 50 years ago.
Mm.
But what is changed? The personality structure is changed. And this is a shift, I would say.
That's interesting. How do you think the personality structures have changed?
I think young people maybe appear more self-confident with with more um, body
Awareness.
awareness,
Mm.
with a better awareness for the body, for sure, I would say. And it's also change in the dependency relationship with the professor. 50
Mm.
years ago, it was he was a teacher, he was a supervisor for private and professional situations. And this has changed, I would say. And so the students now are more they have more self-consciousness, I would say. And
More
they're
confident, maybe also. Would you say
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, I would say
Mm.
yes. And so there's a shift, but the topics, the taboos are this nearly the same in the therapy. And
Mm.
10 years ago, when we create this center, it was very important that I did know this is somebody from Orchestra R, this is somebody of Orchestra B, and this is somebody from the University A, B, C, D, E. And I tried that they never met them in our waiting room.
Mhm. So that they don't see each other and that they know that they are
That's
seeking help.
yeah.
Interesting.
And I would say it's also for us a big advantage that we are not part of a medicine ambulance and we
Mm.
are not part of the university because you can grow up in a safe space here.
Mm.
There is a mixture, there's always influence in when you are a student and you are going into the room of the psychologist in the university.
Yeah.
And when the professor is seeing that, oh yeah, finally he's going to look for help. And there are some comments, I would say the students couldn't grow up like they would.
Yeah. I think that also today in many orchestras, structures are changing, and some orchestra even employ psychologists for their orchestra, but nobody goes there because they know that they will be seen by their colleagues. So, yeah, this is what I heard. So it's a bit the
Yes,
same. Yeah.
I know
Mm.
this problem very well. And
Yeah.
I think the colleagues are right not to go there.
Mm.
And I think it's they have to grow up by their own in a safe space and not in the community of this orchestra. You can make mediation, but it's a very big mistake when the mediator is coming. He's the personality of the orchestra. You can't do that. And
No.
you never would find an employment of a big firm, and there is somebody who is the boss, and he say, we make now meditation.
Mediation.
mediation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how that is going to develop. But in any case, you created like a safe space for growth there, which is so unique in Europe. And I read in one of your articles that you use the term performance music and competitive sports. So in German is like Leistungssport and Leistungsmusik. That's the same word.
Yes.
And do you think that individual orchestra musicians today even get the chance to regulate and balance time for recovery realistically on their own with their schedule and everything that's going on? Or does it like require a much broader shift in thinking, for example, in orchestral culture, so which increasingly leans towards quantity, sometimes also instead of quality. So it's all more and more and more. Do we have, as a individual musicians, do we have the chance to really like recover like these professional sports people have?
Oh, long question. So first, I would say I use the word Leistungsmusik or performance music in the spirit of auditions, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can compare sports with music in that field very well. And I think this is so it started to integrate this word Leistungsmusik into this field.
Yeah.
At least an orchestra musician is like a peak performer. For sure. When he had to play 5 hours of Wagner opera, it's you have to be in a good shape to do that. In this performance sport, you have to regenerate the same time as long as you practice
Mm-hmm.
for recovering your body. But imagine what is your thinking about your recovering in your job?
Yeah, it's just not possible. If we're playing like a Götterdämmerung by Wagner, which is like 6 hours, then yeah, the next day in the morning is just the next rehearsal, and in the
Yes.
afternoon the next rehearsal. And so this is why I'm so interested. If you think that we as individuals even get the chance to really like balance that out, or is that like a problem in the system?
No, the system is really strong, for sure. But the system in the medical ambulance is also very strong.
Mm.
I think it's a question of responsibility and
Mm-hmm.
it's for the own personality. And it's a question of my socialization. It's a question of my body. It's a question of my spirit, how I handle my body, my soul, my environment. So I stay healthy in
Yeah.
that field.
It's a big responsibility, and it's not so easy, right? To fit that into the schedule also,
Yes,
because you have
yeah,
like your professional life and then your personal life, and then you have to take care of your body and your mind. So that's many tasks at once. And I also read in one of your articles that was very interesting that sports people, when they have like periods of many competitions or races or whatever it is, they have less practice training sessions.
oh
So they
yeah,
balance that out. But with musicians, I see actually just the opposite. And also with students, when they're preparing for auditions, the week before the auditions, it's more practice and more practice and more practice. And I wonder, do you have like a guideline or a schedule you could share with our listeners on how they can best structure their performance and recovery phases just before the audition?
Yes, we learned a lot from this field of the professional sport people.
What would you say then 1 week before the audition? Should you just like practice less 1 week before an audition, or do you have a plan for your students there?
Yeah. The plan is, Karin, the plan is always individual.
Yeah.
Before I never will give advices. This is not for me.
Mhm.
I train them to think that they know how is the best way to treat myself before I have an audition. And this is dependent from the personality, how he is, which kind of structure he has.
Mhm.
He's working better with a lot of pressure or without pressure. He is hypertone people, very nervous, or he's very low tone and so, oh, I need a little bit of push, so coming on and so on. And it's a question of security.
Mhm.
And security is a very interesting tool for musicians, because they think when I exercise, I'm more safe, and they ignore the neurological system. In sports, you can make a screening. That means I know I need 10 seconds for 100 meters. But music is a fleeting system, and
Yeah.
it's subjective. So it's very difficult to find the right result.
Mhm.
They're so dependent, the tone is so dependent from so many things inside and outside. And we know now that the perceptions are going together with predictions. And when you have a prediction, oh, this is so complicated. Oh, I'm afraid. I have fear. The prediction is what is blocking your competence.
Mm.
So with our knowledge of neuroanatomy, neurophysiology, we can now develop mental tools to start that the monster is behind you and not in front of you.
Yeah. I love this technique of putting together the pieces, because I also always talk to my students that they have to know what is happening before the excerpt and what is happening after the excerpt. And I love that you really suggest to like play the things that are before and afterwards, and then like only put it into this like vessel. That's a really, really great idea to do. Great. Um, Heidi, we already touched on it. We wanted to talk actually mostly about artistic identity and the variables of artistic identity. You talk about that a lot. It's so interesting. What is an artistic identity and what does it consist of?
So I would say the artistic identity is based on three different building blocks. First, the bonding, the autonomy, and the musical competence. Personality develops from this, and the resulting artist identity is like, imagine a triangle with the corresponding points: bonding, autonomy, and musical competence. And the product is the personality inside. And with the help of this system, you can identify the different variables that belong to identity. And then also you can recognize blockages where they are blocked. And I think this building is, for me, so important because it's the result of 25 years of psychotherapy with musicians. I was thinking, what are the reasons? And there's not only one reason. There's not only one result. So I am talking about variable. It's like a kaleidoscope. If you change a little bit or you shake it, the variables are going in a new picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say the personality, the artistic personality, is the result of a long process of identifications. A lot of identifications has to be experienced before. And then I try to copy my friend. I try to copy how a child is going up the chair, or how a child is playing the ball or something like that. Our whole life we try first to copy, and then our brain starts to integrate what is useful for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is at least the result is the personality and identity. Artistic identity means it's the result of the process of a lot of identifications I lived before.
Okay.
And
yeah. And when does it start to emerge? Like, how do we learn who we are as artists? Also only by copying, or is there also at what age does a relatively clear picture begin to form, would you say?
In this triangle, the most important is the first topic, bonding.
Mm-hmm.
And in this bonding, that means we integrate socialization, we integrate the meaning of motivation, we integrate the ability for communication, and we connect the instrument physical and mentally with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a very important point for the identity. That means the bonding or the connection to the instrument is in this first group.
Mm-hmm. And this happens already when we start to play the instrument,
Yes.
or
From the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This is really the motivation is such an important point there, psychological, because without motivation, it's like a training. It's like it's a copy. It's a showman. It's
like an external thing and not an
yes,
intrinsic
right.
motivation. Mm-hmm.
It's external, and identity starts there, where the process of identification stops.
Mm-hmm.
Because creativity is mixed through my own person. Why? When you have an audition with 60 people, they're playing Mozart. They play 60 different pieces you will hear. Why? They are very good. But even because they start to create an own Mozart identity in this field.
Mm-hmm.
This is my expression. This is my way how I would like to play. But in the development of a child, you are dependent from your parents and from your teacher. So a child has no chance to say no, because they are dependent from the environment where they are involved with the parents. But then artistic identity starts in youth, when it's like the development with 14 years. I have my own ideas. My parents are not so nice. I'm boring about my teacher, my field and everything. And this in the puberty, it's so important that a child has a chance to live the puberty.
And this is where the artistic identity also comes in at this age, like when you have your first own ideas on the pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
You finish copying in a special time. You will copy plenty things, other things, to have experience if this is something for myself or not.
Yeah.
I try and error. This is what the surrounding has to offer a young people, so they can develop this kind of identity. And so with 14, 15 or more and more, you have to learn something about your self-care for your body and for your psyche. You have to learn the ability to set boundaries. You have the point of self-efficacy. You make experience by that. And also the assumption of personal responsibility. You are responsible, not the other. Mm-hmm. So this is the point of autonomy, which has to grow up.
So we start out with the bonding section when we start the instrument, and by the age of, I don't know, 13, 14, when we become like for the first time independent and develop our own ideas, then the autonomy part comes in.
The autonomy part is always like a twin part.
Of the bonding.
Of the bonding, yes. Mm-hmm. It's grow up, increase together.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But it's more, it's not a balance with 14. With 14, you have to separate. You realize that I have an own identity. And in the psychological way, we have some more phases of development where we start. A baby who's looking their mother, it's first the same. It's not separated for the baby, but in a special period, the baby realizes, oh, I'm a known person. It's not the face of my mother. It's not mine. And so it's also separating, or autonomy, when a child starts walking. It's autonomy. So it's a lifelong development, I would say.
Yeah.
And both parts have always be connected with the ability to express oneself musically. that means I'm able to translate or transport emotions in music. This is the ability. It's a competence. Music as a language, to understand as a language, music as an expression. This is craftsmanship. Yes, it's a technique and it's a training.
Yeah.
And it's a training on a very high level, right?
So that's how the three combine together to your artistic identity. It's a very interesting picture. Yeah. And what do you think? Can an artistic identity be damaged or destroyed by, like, I don't know, bad experiences in personal life or also on stage? Or at least disrupted?
And I would say the identity still is alive,
Mm-hmm.
but the self-consciousness is destroyed.
Mm.
Um, the acceptance is destroyed. The position could be destroyed, but identity never could be destroyed. It's not, that is not possible.
It's because it's just our core
It's
identity. It's so much
because,
who we are.
yeah, there you have so many ego states of identity, but identity inside could not be destroyed. Perhaps you have no chance to show it. That could be.
Mm-hmm.
You have no field where you can grow up for your artistic uh, and professional identity.
But it can't be destroyed. This is just who you are at some point, at
Yeah.
least. Mm-hmm.
I think this, where in a superficial way, you can say he's destroyed. But I would say he is blocked.
Mm-hmm.
He's not destroyed. And he can grow up in psychotherapy to organize his or her identity in on another level for themselves. This is our job.
It's like putting the puzzle together again
Yes,
after.
that, yeah. So humans are so resilient, at least. We have so many power inside. You have only to know where the power is. And when it's intrinsic, it must be expressed.
Yeah.
But I'm not dependent from my environment if the environment accept me like that or not.
Mm.
And this is another very important point when we are coming to orchestra, to groups. How can I integrate my artistic identity into an orchestra? Now the problem are coming.
Yeah.
Now it starts to be complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that in an episode with Gudrun Hinze from the Gewandhaus. How thin this line is of, like, fitting into an orchestra and still, like, securing your own autonomy and being yourself still. Can you
Right.
talk to us about that in a probational period, for example? How do we, like, balance those two things?
First, I would say you have to you have to know about your identity. You have to know it, really. Many people didn't know that what they are. So because they were grow up in dependent structures. So they ask me who I am. I say, I don't know who you are. Because they were not used to ask this question, because it's perhaps dangerous to ask, or my teacher knows what I am. I'm not, but my teacher knows. That's not a good base for ripe identity.
Yeah. So how do we find out then? How do we find out who we are as artists?
During student time, you are still in a protective world of the university, I would say. And between 20 and 30, you should find out where you are. This is the period where we are looking for our professional identity. And I try then to implement a private identity and a professional identity. That means I have not to show everything of my own when I'm going into a community like an orchestra. Even I know it's a deep action as a soloist to start with your solo in an orchestra. Everybody, wow, is hearing you and has a meaning about you, and so an orchestra is the last base of a non-democratic system. So you have to learn also in the academy. You have really to learn where and how you should adapt, where you have to protect some ego states for yourself, which ego states you should develop more to be resilient in such a community. And at least, Karin, you always have to know who I am. This is the most important question.
Yeah, absolutely. And for our listeners who have never heard of ego states, can you maybe just describe what an ego state is? Because we have been talking about it now several times.
Yes, an ego state is some part of my personality, some part of my very special mixture of my emotions, of my thought of thinking, of my thought of reactions. It's such a special mix. Many people have same ego states. For example, fear could be an ego state of yourself. Fear or love or happiness or jealousy or various also motivations create always a picture of your ideal of your personality. And ego states is a sum of your whole personality. And the ego states you have to protect. When sensitivity, for example, you have to protect your own sensitivity in a special field. Self-careness is such an important ability to have to know. How can you care yourself in the field of your professional life, of your personal life, of your communities? How can I make the balance between my needs? Ego states are also needs. I want to be satisfied by special activities, by nutrition, by acceptances, by so many other stuff of needs.
So ego states are basically different parts of our personality that have like different, want to accomplish different things for us. Like I hear it.
Yes.
Good.
For example, jealousy, when you have such an ego state, which is very strong, it blocks you in your development so much, and you have to look after why. What's going on when I'm always jealous because he's the soloist and I'm only the second one? Why? And I'm working against him or her or something like that. These are the conflicts of the orchestra.
Yeah. The very common conflicts of orchestras. Yeah. And can we, going back to artistic identity, can we like actively use that identity in an audition, for example? Can we like play this card in a very effective way for us?
Yeah, there I learned a lot during COVID from the sport peak performance. There are so many tools how to prepare in the day of audition, how I can guide the focus, my focus. I create a storyboard for myself. It's an individual storyboard. I know it like a film in myself. With all my perceptions, I know what I have kind of clothes. I know what I like. I know my level of stress, how I can integrate it. And I make experience, not in the audition. I have to do that too, for sure. But I make this kind of special experience in the field of sport to have a good audition, because you are going to the frunches in sports. You are really in a stress level, but you have to calm your body immediately. How can you calm your body and your brain, your thoughts? And this you can train so easily when you start. Not only 1 week before. You have to integrate it in your life. For example, to regulate emotion by stress physically. If I'm afraid in front of an audition and my heart is beating too much or something, for me, the best is the autogenic training to integrate it in my whole life, because you have to do nothing before. You have just to think, and you have not to move like a progressive muscle relaxation. You have to wah. Okay, but for me, it's not so efficient like the ability of autogenic training, because when you are used to think like that, you learn use to guide the focus. In the moment where you think surrounding is completely indifferent, it's a process of conditioning in your brain. Just when you think this sentence, your physical system reduced immediately. And this is also the result of neurophysiology. When one thought is able to bring me such high in a stress level. That means another alternative thought has the same ability to bring me exactly in the same time down.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I would say, every musician has to learn it. But
How long does
in
it
the right
take
way.
to learn it? What would you say? How long
Sorry?
before do you have to start before the audition? How long does it take to learn this technique?
Musicians are very quick in learning, but I would say when you start 6 weeks before and you do it twice a time a day, not early in the morning when you are just relaxed, you have to integrate in your time of exercising. After a while, you have break patterns. You have to say 3 minutes only it takes, or 5 minutes it would take to make it, and then to start again. And I integrated now in the University of Frankfurt an der Hochschule für Musik und Theater. All students are allowed to come in, and they learning this technique now there. And the technique is, you should learn it in a serious way. It's not a meditation. It's nothing like a meditation. It's an ability to perform.
And where can students find like resources maybe to learn it? Do you have to go to a real teacher, or are there also like online courses?
Yeah, in Germany, the Krankenkassen pays for that.
Oh,
That's very good. You have to know that the Techniker Krankenkasse is paying a course for autogenic training. And you have to look who's in your environment, in your city, to teach it. And I know very often people make yoga or something, and there are elements of autogenic training integrate in the yoga, but it's not the same. It's really, normally it's only introduced by psychotherapists or doctors. And I know that you have to look for professionals, and in the internet there's so many rubbish, I would say.
Yeah.
With music behind and big breaks. This is not autogenic training. It's no one other thought can break this, can interrupt you in this course of autogenic training. That means at least it's the most effective possibility for regulation of stress and emotion.
Yeah.
But there are some others, to breath 4-7-8. You know this, Regel?
Just to maybe tell our listeners, I think I know what you mean, yes, but it's a great tool.
This is also very effective. 4 to inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You conserve, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale. 4, 7, 8. You inhale.
Then you hold for 7.
To hold for 7 seconds and exhale for 8.
Yeah, it's a great technique. It's just so simple, but you can just do it when you're outside the audition room, or even when you're on stage. Yes. You can do this. This is very effective. Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi, for this small little tool. I think we're already at the end of our conversation. I'm so sorry. I would
No,
would love to go on for an hour.
I think we should continue. It's so nice to speak with you because I know you ask the right questions.
Thank you, Heidi. I'm just asking what I'm interested in and what I know that our students are interested in. So thank you for those insights on so many different levels of our musicians' life. And we will definitely continue this conversation at another time. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you so much, Karin. Have a good time in Penthesia Academy.
Thank you.